Kabbalist of Isaac Luria. So what you see here is grain, spark. Then, definitely written about him. So let us see very important and significant tables about Rabbi Glazerson of Kabbalah, about his findings, commentary on the Torah. Very significant one, and really showing and proving the clear connection between Bible and Kabbalah. Definitely the statistic will be very high, as you will see. Now the program with which it was done with this Professor Haralick at the Center University in the State, definitely found the statistic, but also explaining what it is. So let us see now table after table, and definitely trying to explain to you what you have there. So let us start with the basics which I found. The tables are not so clear because I took it from YouTube, but you can see. So what I found here, you can see the name on top. I found the word Torah, Kabbalah, Isaac Luria. Now the appearance of all this came in one book, Genesis, basically in the line of 16 letters, from letter to letter, 16, and definitely the area is very small. You can see here, it is on Genesis 25, 26, 26, there are few verses, and Zohar appears here right in the small sheet. So think about the possibility of the name Isaac and Luria and Kabbalah and Zohar will come in such a short area of 16. So this is what Professor Haralick explained. The expected number of ELS is equilateral skips is set to 50. The cylinder has 16 columns, as we said, on the probability that a table as compact as this would arise in the ELS random placement monkey text. Monkey text means that it is, you don't intend, it's not done with intention, you put in the program, and this will come out. So the population is 9.5 to 100,000. Right. Now besides that, always to mention that there is Dr. Alexander Rottenberg, scientist also came from Russia, and Professor Rich, definitely both of them from Russia, showed him this phenomenon already. Rabbi Glazerson used it 800 years ago for the code of the birth. The first birth of the moon. Yeah, it came out in a second exactly what matter found afterwards. Okay, I can see it now, citing Professor Haralick on the internet. So he says that when it's minimal of birth meeting or better than statistical, sometimes one can see, like Professor McKay, this Chanukah, we showed it. So here, for example, Isaac is definitely minimal. Zohar, fully right, also. So, very likely that this is also for this point of view, a very significant one. Now, something else very important is, in fact, you can see here what the Torah speaks about. So Torah speaks about Esau selling the birthright to Jacob. This is what is written there by stood, drank, and then is written that Esau sold the Torah, the birthright, to Jacob. Right? So the question what he has to do with the story of Kabbalah and all the secrets of the Torah. So this is what I told him. Professor Rips went to a great Kabbalist and he showed him this amazing finding. And he asked him, please, Rabbi, can tell me what is the reason that it came exactly when Esau sold the birthright to Jacob? So he said, yes, right, that's right. Because you know that the priest was offered all kind of offering, he must know all what is going on up in heaven. Lot of Kabbalistic secrets, names of God which are connected with different words. This is Kabbalah. So it's important to know all these teachings. Esau, if you will not say the birthright, you will have to serve, and to serve a lot of these things of knowledge is necessary. Once he sold Jacob the birthright, also he had to tell him all these secrets, or all these secrets were known to him. So, amazing finding which I found. Statistically 9,500,000 far away from being coincident. So, very significant and very important. Table. Then, amazing story that when Professor Rips saw my finding, yes, you see here the same thing, you can see the same place here, Isaac Luria, Kabbalah, and Torah, here also the Haralick. Yeah? So Professor Rips saw here amazing phenomena. Okay, very likely the people who are not familiar with Kabbalah, but I hope that some of the people who see this know about Kabbalah, not to everything in the internet. They will be everything, so if you want to know, you can know. So in short, what is the additional line here from the bottom to the top? So the story of the vessels, when God created the world, He created vessels to contain life, yeah. And it was explosion, and those fire, those sphere, what do they call it, yeah? Those vessels broke into pieces, okay. Then God had a few names, Ma, 45, formation, 52, action, and 63, creation, the word of emanation, 72, which is the basis of all of them, 72. So what you see, so it means that for what which happened, was in the beginning those vessels were broken to pieces. What represents Kabbalah, but what happened, so the name of God, how it came, where it came to. For it, okay, that was not simple at all. But Ma, what you see on the bottom, the letter Ma, the name of God Ma, came and fixed and clarified, really basically, all these, the vessels, and again the build-up was, the proper build-up is the letter I love, 72, which is the name of God, and the nation, famous. Now in English you have a little bit, if you want to read, so the divine name of this Professor Haralick, divine name of God, Gematria 45, we clarify in the vessel the divine name of the Gematria, then the study of Isaac Luria, Arizal, which you saw. Then, unbelievable. Yeah. You see, if the statistic of this part was 9.5, so I don't think you will talk difficult with such a meaningful sentence. This is exactly what Kabbalah said. Kabbalah said about the name 45, it's verified, rectified. The vessel put it back to the normal situation. Okay, now, in fact, in the site of Professor Haralick, he explained a little bit about the Isaac Luria, the 16th century Kabbalist Rabbi Isaac Luria, Solomon Luria, revolutionized the study of Jewish mysticism. Through Kabbalah, he had the gift to explore the innermost depths of the Zohar. His disciple of Chaim Vital wrote down his teaching, which have come to be known as Haralick Kabbalah. In the table we take the name Isaac Luria and pair it with Zohar and Kabbalah. The probability that a table is compacted, this would arrive in the ELS random, equal letters in random, placement, mountain text, population 9.5 under Zohar. So this you saw already. So, you know, if people will say we can find in Mongol Peak, yeah, we can find it in War and Peace. To find this, you know. Yes, exactly, not only it is in the right place, not necessarily appearing in the right place. Yes, I explained to you what the Kabbalist said. So, no, tonight, so the night, people in Tzfat, not only in Tzfat, but in Israel all over, going to the cemetery in Tzfat, praying and asking for what they need, like this. So, no, that's why really in Israel and the opportunity to go to the cemetery to pray, you know, those prayers, and it's a lot of stories about prayers we came to fulfill. So, we need today, we need to do strong prayers about the situation in Israel, which is going in Israel now, fighting Greeks. Everyone says different idea, no different to fighting in condition, even war, that is against the war between brothers, fighting is fight situations, so very important really. If one can go in Israel and to pray, heart on the grave, there will be peace, happiness and joy, it will be together. This is only by keeping the Torah. We have to pray that people will keep the Torah, because then they will not look for other kind of court cases of the argument and laws, taking from some from the English, some from the Turkish. They have Torah, and the Torah tells us exactly what to do and what is the right judgment, and because of keeping this judgment, we are not free today, but many others who use other kinds of judgment don't think this anymore. So, as I said, very, very interesting and significant tables. It's a clear proof of the Bible code being from anywhere in the Bible code really are part of the Torah, as I said many times. Because the book is of creation, Bible code really was the program in which God created the 6,000 years. So this is a program, like a pilot, all the program of what you want to go to. There's my son, the pilot is what they are doing in there. If the weather is nice, if everything what you see, everything, if you keep in the Torah, the Sabbath. Torah tells us to keep the Sabbath. You keep to it your flight, you keep all of things, everything will be nice. If not, 98 curses, which came out in the Holocaust, not what you have today, so many Jews are that so what you should do, what you should do, Shiva, keep the Torah, keep the Shabbos. And I think this is one of the strongest proof that life with God, or the creation part of the program God planned in the creation of the world. So, the regular Shabbos, the Saturday night in Israel, anybody can go to Sfat. And the morning, there is no doubt prayers are very, very important, and we need them very much for this time.
Want to trade Bitcoin, plus oil, plus gold, plus so much more? Let me introduce you to Plus 500, the intuitive and easy-to-use trading app that gives you a glimpse into the future. Futures trading. See a trading opportunity? You'll be able to trade it in 2 clicks once your account is open. So download the app and start trading futures today. Trading futures and options involves the risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor. Plus 500. It's trading with the plus. Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform. Add products, showcase them dynamically, and seamlessly track your inventory. Accept multiple secure payments, and design your storefront down to the very last detail. Get all the tools you need. Drive more sales with customizable gift cards and flexible product subscriptions. Retain customers with a point-based loyalty program, email automations, and reach millions with sales channel integrations. Complete your setup with a personalized analytics dashboard. Make smart business decisions and shape the next phase of your business. Build, manage, and grow from one place. Go to Wix and launch your online business today.
Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and our personality today is Rabbi Isaac Luria, born in 1534 and died in 1572. One of the results of the expulsion from Spain and the cataclysmic disasters that spelled for Sephardi Jews was a glint of mysticism. So there must be a higher and more esoteric purpose for the suffering of the Jews. And this had an effect all over the world, including in the land of Israel. And it was there in Jerusalem in 1534 that Isaac Luria was born. He became the greatest mystic of Jewish history, who really transformed the way that the Kabbalah, and in particular the Zohar, the major text of Jewish mysticism, is studied. There had been previous important scholars of the Zohar and the Kabbalah, including Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, who was a teacher of Isaac Luria, but Rabbi Luria completely overturned previous interpretations and is still the dominant way that the Kabbalah and the Zohar are understood by Jewish mystics. It's known as Lurianic Kabbalah after Rabbi Isaac Luria, after his surname. He settled in Sfat, in the north of Israel. This is the same town where, for example, Rabbi Caro was working, and was part of that very important mystical community, which was involved both in Jewish law and in more esoteric aspects of the Jewish tradition. He spent 7 years essentially on his own, learning and delving and contemplating and meditating upon the Kabbalah and upon the Zohar, and then he started to train up disciples. He died very young, aged only 38, in 1572, as often seems to be the case with the mystical figures, but his writings and his teachings were produced and carried on by his students, including Rabbi Chaim Vital, who becomes his most important interpreter and the most important continuer of Rabbi Isaac Luria's works. He's known as the Ari, as the lion, because of his enormous dominance in the area of mysticism, and is often called the Arizal, Zal's Zechron Livracha, may his memory be a blessing. It's impossible in any mystical discussion within a traditional Jewish context nowadays not to refer to the Arizal, not to refer to his contribution, and every movement since, from Hasidut to Sabbatianism, which we'll discuss in a few weeks' time, each one of these mystical movements owes an enormous debt to the Arizal and to his analysis of the Kabbalah, which systematized it, which made it comprehensible, which imposed some order upon what could be a very disparate and difficult to grasp tradition. In that way, he's in many ways in the same tradition as the Shulchan Aruch, as Rabbi Yosef Karo. Just as Rabbi Yosef Karo imposed order on a very diffuse legal tradition, the Arizal imposed the same order on a very difficult and a very dispersed mystical tradition, and made it accessible as it still is today in Jewish mystical circles. Thanks for joining.
Plus, you've been waiting for has landed in the U.S. Let me introduce you to Plus 500, the intuitive and easy-to-use trading app. Plus 500, it's trading with the plus. Trading futures and options involves the risk of loss, and you're not suited for having day.
Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and our personality today is Donna Gracia Mendes Nassi, born in 1510 and died in 1569. Donna Gracia was one of the great victims of the explosion of Spain, and also something triumphed over the circumstances that it created. She was born in Lisbon in 1510. Her family was from Aragon, but were forced to flee in 1492 and went from Spain into Portugal. But in Portugal in 1497 there was a forced conversion of all the Jews. Whereas in Spain, Jews were thrown out. In Portugal, eventually, they were not expelled, but rather they were forced to become Catholics. And this was true of Donna Gracia's family, such that she was known really for the first part of her life not as Gracia, but as Beatrice de Luna. Now, her family were very important, very wealthy, very successful, and she married another successful man, her uncle, in fact, when she was 18 years old, and he was a very successful trader in black pepper. She also showed that she was very capable as a assistant and as a help to him, because when he died, when she was just 28 years old, he split his estate between his wife and his brother, and who was also his business partner, and they both went into the business which their deceased brother and husband had left behind. She became increasingly wealthy, and was probably carrying on in secret as a Jew. As well as being a Catholic externally, she was living a Jewish life internally and in private. For example, it's suggested that her marriage was celebrated both the great Catholic Mass in Lisbon Cathedral, but also in a private chuppah with a kutubah to make sure it was a marriage also valid in Jewish law. Now, her position both as a secret Jew and also as a very wealthy and successful businesswoman made her very vulnerable to attack by those who were jealous or those who were opposed to her secret or private religious beliefs and practices. And therefore she had to move from place to place. Eventually she came to Antwerp. Now Antwerp was a little more liberal than Portugal or Spain themselves, but was still under the control of the Spanish Inquisition, and so she was still there a converso, a crypto Jew, living as a Jew privately and not publicly. However, in Antwerp she was able to organise a secret passage for conversos, for crypto Jews to leave Spain and Portugal and reach freedom in the Ottoman Empire. And she poured a huge amount of money into supporting those Jews leaving the lands of their oppression and going to places where they could live openly and freely as Jews. She herself moved to Ferrara, and that's where she was able to live herself as an open Jew for the first time, and then settled more permanently in the Ottoman Empire, in areas around Istanbul, around Constantinople. There, as a fully open member of the Jewish community, she became known as La Senora. She reverted to her more Jewish name, Hannah or Gracia. She used the name Nassi instead of the Luna, previous Christian name, and she became a massive philanthropist. She opened her own printing press, and she in fact bought an area of Tiberias, the land of Israel, and tried to establish a Jewish settlement there. So importance really is multifold. First of all, she was a very successful woman in an age where very few women had those problems, unless they were monarchs like Queen Elizabeth or Queen Isabella of Spain. Second, she shows the endurance of the converted community, living for many years as a secret Jew and yet never surrendering her identity or her practices. Third, she's a rescuer of Jews from under their oppression. And fourth, she's a sort of proto-Zionist trying to create a settlement in the land of Israel for Jews to live in peace and security. One of those most remarkable figures of 16th century Southern Europe and one of the most remarkable women in Jewish history. Thanks for joining.
Want to trade Bitcoin, plus oil, plus gold, plus so much more? Let me introduce you to Plus 500, the intuitive and easy-to-use trading app that gives you a glimpse into the future. How futures trading? See a trading opportunity? You'll be able to trade it in 2 clicks once your account is open. So download the app and start trading futures today. Trading futures and options involves the risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor. Plus 500. It's trading with the plus.
Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and our personality today is Rabbi Yosef Karo, born in 1488, died in 1575. Rabbi Yosef Karo was born in Toledo, in Spain, just 4 years before the Jews were expelled in 1492. And so, as a 4-year-old, he had to leave his hometown, his home country, and began wandering around the world with his parents and his family before eventually settling in Sfat, in the north of the land of Israel. He learned initially from his father, and then with other teachers, and by the time he arrived in Sfat, he was already seen as a very important, very senior rabbinic scholar. He produced 3 major works in his rabbinic career. The first is called the Kesef Mishnah, and this is a commentary on Maimonides' Code of Jewish Law. When the young Rabbi Yosef Karo was first learning, the most important Code of Jewish Law was that of the Rambam, the Mishneh Torah, we discussed in a previous week. And one of the long-standing questions about the Mishneh Torah is what are the sources of the Rambam's rulings? Where did Maimonides get the rulings which he took and placed in the Mishneh Torah? Because the Rambam doesn't give footnotes, he doesn't give sources. The Kesef Mishnah is an attempt to provide sources for all the Rambam's rulings, and also defends him against the critiques of the Raavad, Rabbi Avram ben David of Paskia in Provence, and an attempt to justify Rambam's position. His first, therefore, major work was of the defense of the Rambam and a commentary on his great work of legal ruling. The second work of Rabbi Yosef Karo was another type of commentary, but much more extensive. A few weeks ago we discussed the Rosh by Asher ben Yechiel, who was a German rabbi who went to live in Spain, and who took many positions and laid them out on areas of Jewish law. Now he had a son called Yaakov, and Yaakov wrote a book called the Torah, the 4 towers, the 4 pillars. And this book does not treat of the whole of Jewish law like the Rambam does, only looks at the relevant parts of Jewish law to life today. So the temple, for example, and all its rules are absent from this book, the Torah. And the Torah gives his conclusions about what the law should be. But since he wrote that in the 14th century, there have been very many further discussions, and then Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote a book called the Bet Yosef. The Bet Yosef is a discussion of all the different opinions that came after the Torah, and giving his own conclusion at the end, weighing everything up. Now this is a very, very long, very extensive work, still essential for rabbinic study, but it's not a quick or an easy read. And therefore, Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote what became his most famous work, which is the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch is a sort of crib notes of Bet Yosef, It gives very succinctly and clearly the bottom line ruling of Rabbi Yosef Kara's view of each and every case of practical Jewish law. He has the same structure as the Torah. It's in 4 different parts. It only deals with relevant laws to today, and it's been extremely useful and has become therefore the dominant code of Jewish law ever since. No real discussion of what the law should be ever omits a reference to Shulchan Aruch, and nor the Shulchan Aruch is taken as authoritative, especially as we will see when it's combined with the glosses of Rav Moshe Isserles, the Ramah, who makes it relevant also for Ashkenazim as well as for Sephardim. How did Rabbi Yosef Karo decide what ruling he would finally come from Shulchan Aruch? Well, he looks at 3 different figures we've discussed in the past. He looks at the rulings of the Rambam, and of the Rosh, and also of the Rif. We discussed each of these figures in the past: the Rif from North Africa around the year 1000, the Rosh from 13th century Germany, later Spain, and the Rambam from 12th and 13th century Spain and then Egypt. He takes the majority of these 3, and that's where he comes to his ruling. Now, one is originally Ashkenazi, and 2 are Sephardi, although even the Rosh went to live in Spain eventually. So there's a very Sephardic bent to the conclusions of the work, which is why Rabbi Moshe Isserles needs to come along and to give an Ashkenazi gloss to make it useful both Ashkenazi and Sephardim, and really united the whole Jewish world. This code of the Jewish law received some opposition. Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and our first writer today is Donna Gracia Mendes Nassi, born in 1510 and died in 1569. Donna Gracia was one of the great victims of the exploitation of Spain, and also something triumphed over the circumstances that it created. She was born in Lisbon in 1510. Her family was from Aragon, but were forced to flee in 1492, and went from Spain into Portugal. But
Was it really God's wish to kill Abraham's elder son? Why Isaac needed to be punished by God if he did not harm anyone? Abraham faced many moral dilemmas through his life, but the binding of his own son Isaac was his biggest trial. For many centuries, the English interpretation of the Bible was missing its depth due to the lack of understanding of Jewish language, context, and culture. Our new course, The Biblical Hebrew of Genesis, begins to remedy this situation by solving the puzzle, returning the book of Genesis into its original Jewish context. Are you ready to be inspired by looking at the first book of the Bible as you never looked at it before? Go ahead, sign up, and come with us on the journey of discovering the world of Hebraic and Jewish background of the book of Genesis. Click on the link to secure your spot. Right now!
What you are going to see now, additional tables, the same subject. So before, was the Kabbalah, Torah, tables, the same subject. So, Saturday night, starting the anniversary. Yeah. Okay. We have to do it.